What is up, guys? Big Gamer out here. How are you guys doing today? I'm super, thanks for asking.
Welcome, guys, to Raiders of the Worst Game, the series where I hunt down and play the worst games. Okay, guys, the game I've got for you today is the notorious Alone in the Dark for the Wii. Now, this game has had some horrendous reviews, so I thought, what better way to kickstart Raiders of the Worst Game than go for this little gem. Now, it is a game that I played back in the day on the Xbox 360, and to be honest, I didn't think it was that bad. The game ran fairly well on the Xbox 360, and the ideas were fairly unique. So it's not a game that I hated by any stretch of the imagination. However, on the Wii, it's another story. Now, as you can see via the gameplay, the cutscenes, we'll start with those. They're oddly grey. They're a little bit washed out. I mean, the graphics, they're not terrible. It's been ported to a fairly competent state. I mean, you look at the faces and that, yeah, okay, this is all a bit 2006, but, the detail is there, the textures aren't great, and the most disappointing thing, I suppose, with these cutscenes is just the video compression is horrendous. I mean, whatever they've done to try and get this onto the Wii, I really don't know. I don't know if this much video compression was necessary to fit them. It can't be a capacity issue. I mean, it was on a DVD. The Xbox 360 game was on DVD, so I don't know if there's just an issue with rendering them, at a decent frame rate. At the moment, you see me dangling from a hose. Now, this game is meant to be a survival horror game, and it tries to mix up its puzzles and try to do some interesting things as far as traversal goes. It leans a little bit towards. Remember, this is before the days of Uncharted. As you can see, with some debris falling here, and I'm switching from side to side. Now, this isn't uncommon for a game like Uncharted, and this game does try some interesting things, and it does need a little bit of praise for that. I mean, the game reviewed pretty poorly across all sites. I mean, if you look at, as an example, Metacritic. Now, if you see on the gameplay, if you see the screen go black a lot, there's a blinking mechanic. So sometimes when he's near fire or when he's stressed out, you do need to blink to clear the screen. So it's not all graphical haze. Sometimes you just need to blink, basically. As you can see him here fighting a fire, as I was saying before, the game does try some interesting things, but it reviewed terribly. Metacritic has it at a lowly, I think, 33 out of 100, and to be honest, as I started playing, I couldn't really see why. It didn't seem to be that much different than the Xbox 360 version, but the more I played it, I mean, I was just wrestling with the Wiimote here. I mean, the controls are horrendous, and it's no fault of Nintendo's or the Wiimote. I mean, they're just really, really badly translated over. I mean, literally, you point the Wiimote in hope more than expectation of where you're going to be pointing, and there you go, I'm facing the ceiling again, and the issue is the combat is motion based, and so is these first person sections like fighting fires and stuff, and it can be incredibly infuriating. It really can. I mean, it's got to be the weakest point of the game. Has to be just controls, as you'll see in a few sections later. Now, the game was slated heavily for its translation across from kind of the next gen at the time consoles, with the graphics taking quite a big hit, though they didn't look great on an HD TV at 480p. They weren't the worst I've seen. They're certainly not going to be the factor in making this the worst game. As you can see here, the guy needs to blink again. It's all gone a bit hazy, but there's just little touches that just come off really rough. I have to say, visually, the big black bars with pictures of Wii motion controls and nunchucks and stuff taking up a third of the screen at times. It's super, super ugly. When the game saves, a picture of the disc appears on the screen. Quite a large blue, badly Kind of looks like something from Microsoft Paint. Just slaps them in the corner of the screen. Doesn't come across very nice, to be honest. Here we go with the game, trying some nice things here with earthquakes. There's a lot of earthquakes in the game. It's kind of a darkness tearing the city apart. Now, as you can see here, when it switches to the video, it's not a smooth transition. Again, because of the compression on the video here, this is the dramatic scene where we switch to see it say, oh, alone in the dark. It's kind of your tutorial over with at this point, and the game moves into the game proper. Now, graphically, it's no stunner, but again, like I say, it's probably not the thing that's going to make it one of the worst games you've ever played. But I can tell you now, wrestling with those controls, it might be the thing that kind of throws you over the edge. Here I am trying to, again, the animation there, he almost kind of teleports onto that ledge there. The animation in this game is not smooth. It tries some nice things, but doesn't quite have the high quality level of animation to kind of make it stick. I'm shimmying across the side of a building now. Now, it looks fine in the near view, but in the foreground, in the background there, where you can see the cars and stuff down below, I can tell you now, in the 360 version, that did look a lot better. There's a lot more kind of lens flare and effects and stuff going on there. Whereas when you're looking down there now, to be honest, you're expecting to kind of fall into, a badly rendered picture of the background rather than the real background itself. More swinging rope puzzles here. They tend not to get bored of these, to be honest, in the game. They just kind of throw them in willy-nilly whenever they feel things are getting a bit boring. Again, not quite Uncharted and Tomb Raider levels. Oh, here we go, bit of a glitch. Just land on a random artifact of the wall that's just not been clipped out for some reason. Not quite sure at times what you're supposed to be doing. A little bit of prompted Assassin's Creed style platforming. Now, a lot of this stuff does have some quite ugly prompts on screen, kind of placeholder prompts for the controls and stuff. Though it's not always obvious really what the hell you're supposed to be doing with it. Now, anyone will know from when the game first came out, while I burn myself to death there, is that this game really sold itself on its fire effects. And here I am, trying to set fire to objects in the game world to use it to light my path. This is Alone in the Dark after all, and you spend a fair amount of time in the dark. So you will set fire to quite a lot of stuff throughout the game and use that to kind of light your path and kind of walk around. And didn't quite work with the chair. Worked better for some reason. I'm not quite sure why, but it did tend to light my path a little bit better, so I went back for that. Now, in a minute, we're gonna get. Oh, the guy gets side swiped unceremoniously out of the picture there. There's some of the jumping and animation in full view. It's not the best. That's it, mate. Climb back up. But it's sufficient. Here come the enemies. There wasn't too much to explain these off the bat. You just kind of left wondering why on earth these bleeding, shambling men are running towards you. There's no real explanation as to whether they're zombies or not. Here we go. Hitting them with a chair. And the physics are pretty bad, to be honest. I'm swinging like it's an episode of Raw is War, if this is like WWE wrestling or something. But they're not really reacting in any meaningful way. A few swipes and they're down. Here I find a gun. It'd be nice to actually be able to point at something accurately. You'd think with the Wiimote and good games like Resident Evil 4 on the Wii, you might actually be able to aim and get a shot on target. Here I am just trying to get the pointer working before I come out and fight some more enemies. And there you go. Look, a complete headshot, missed completely. And again, oh fantastic, what's going on here? And again, the game, for reasons unknown, seems to have invisible walls everywhere, so you can't actually get a shot on the enemies. Oh look, I hit him there. You wouldn't have known it. You'd think I'd thrown a Satsuma at him rather than shot him with a bullet, the way he's acting. But there's a bit of the combat. Now, this last area of gameplay that I would like to show you from the game is one of the reasons why this is one of the worst games ever made. Now, there's a lot of driving in this game, and the motion controls for this driving are broken. So broken that I had to replay this scene several times, and it was a scene that's quite tricky in the Xbox version as well. But the fact of the matter is, you get 1-for-1 movement off of your analog stick. Here, your best bet is to drive as straight as you can, as straight as the controls will allow you, and just hope that nothing touches you. In the event that anything even breathes in your direction, there is no way using the motion controls to correct your trajectory at all. And there you go. And I'm dead. There you go. That's just one of the many examples I could have shown you of the really frustrating driving in this game. Now, it does try a lot of things for an early Wii game. It does throw a lot of smoke and particle effects around the screen. It does give it a good go visually, though it's not so pretty, and there's a fair bit of popping on the go. But here we go again. Oh, look at that. The slightest touch on that car, all of a sudden, there's no way to turn with the Wii remote. Oh, crazy physics again. The physics were more like something out of Angry Birds than a serious action game, but there you go. And I think this attempt here is the one where I actually finally nail it, and the game kind of progresses onto Central Park from here. This taking place in New York City, as all these games tend to, for one reason or another. It's a nice city, I suppose. I've been there before. But here we go. Yep, driving as straight as I can, making tiny movements with the controls, so that I don't just spin wildly out of control as it tends to want to. And I must say, there's not often that I play a game and I actually just want to take the disc out and snap it in two. Now, the first 10 minutes I was thinking, I don't even know why I'm playing this. I've picked a game that's been poorly reviewed here, and it's actually a bit of a hidden gem. No, that was not the case. This game is broken, the controls are broken, and at the end of the day, gameplay is king. If the game plays terribly, the game is terrible. It doesn't matter what it tries or how it looks. If a game can't play properly, it's rubbish. And unfortunately, Alone in the Dark is rubbish. Well, thanks guys. Hopefully, if you enjoyed it, leave a comment, share, and I'll see you next time.